Open her. Activate 7 Masculine Powers to Arouse Your Woman's Love and Desire, by Karen Brody. Introduction. Imagine a man. He's a photographer, and a rather famous one at that. He's at a party, and across the room, he sees a woman. There's an instant connection, a spark that seems to quiet the noise of everyone else. Later, they sit together on a couch, and he says something simple. "Tell me about yourself." But it's the way he says it. His gaze is so focused, so present, that the simple question feels like a powerful invitation. He isn't just waiting for his turn to speak. He's listening with his entire being, turning his ear slightly to catch every word. It's intoxicating. She feels completely, utterly seen. A few days later, he takes her on a trip to the high desert to photograph her. As he steps behind the camera, his voice takes on a quiet command. "Look here. Take a deep breath." And she does, surrendering to his direction without a second thought. As he works, he doesn't try to touch her or make a move. He remains the master observer, pouring his focused, appreciative energy into her through the lens of his camera. In that moment, under his gaze, she feels like the most beautiful woman in the world, safe, open, and completely alive. What did this photographer know that so many other men miss? He wasn't using a trick or a pickup line. He was channeling a timeless, masculine power that most men have forgotten they even possess. Today, we are diving deep into a book that is less of a manual and more of a map to rediscovering that power. It's called Open Her. Activate 7 Masculine Powers to Arouse Your Woman's Love and Desire, written by love and intimacy coach Karen Brody. This isn't a book about learning how to pacify women or win their approval. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's about becoming more authentically masculine, not less. For decades, men have been given confusing advice. They've been told to be softer, more sensitive, to deny their own masculine impulses. And while the intention was good, it has often led to men becoming passive, indecisive, and unsure of themselves. Qualities that, ironically, do not inspire a woman's desire or respect. Karen Brody argues that to succeed with a woman, a man must first come to know his own power. He must learn that he has a Ferrari in the garage, but he's been driving a Volkswagen. So, by the end of our journey today, you will have the keys to that Ferrari. You will understand the 7 masculine archetypes that women have always been drawn to, and you'll have a clear path to awakening these powers within yourself. This isn't about changing who you are. It's about unlocking the powerful, confident, and loving man you were always meant to be. Book summary. Our story begins with a fundamental problem that many modern men face. You're an intelligent, caring person. You've been told that being a good man is the key to a woman's heart, and so you try. You listen. You try not to be demanding. You do your best to make her happy. But something isn't working. When she's unhappy or distant, it can feel like your own energy is being sucked dry, leaving you feeling powerless and confused. You might find yourself in a state of constantly trying to solve the riddle of what she wants, begging or bargaining for affection and sex. The author, Karen Brody, saw this pattern again and again in her coaching practice. Men were refining and reducing their masculinity until it was almost undetectable, creating the very sexless, passionless relationships they were trying to avoid. The solution, she explains, is not to try harder to please her, but to reconnect with your own authentic masculine power. She compares a woman's heart to a garden. You can water it now and then, and it will stay alive. But for it to truly thrive and blossom, it needs the right kind of care. A care that comes from a place of masculine strength and understanding. This strength is found within 7 timeless masculine archetypes, 7 different expressions of your power that, when activated, create an irresistible polarity with the feminine. The journey to activating these powers begins not with action, but with something much more fundamental: seeing. This brings us to the first archetype, the artist. The artist is not necessarily a painter or a sculptor. He is a man who has mastered the art of seeing a woman deeply. You see, every woman has a powerful, primal desire to be truly seen. It's a desire that many men don't quite understand because it's not as intense for them. When a man can truly see a woman, it's like the sun warming a flower. her petals open to reveal her radiant, feminine essence. Most men, when they see a beautiful woman, experience it as a purely physical event. It activates a desire to possess her. The artist, however, feels that sexual energy but accompanies it with a desire to connect with her from his heart. He learns to appreciate her femininity separate from his own need for satisfaction. The artist practices 3 levels of seeing. First, he sees her feminine essence. This is what is universally feminine about her: the flowing, unpredictable, river-like quality of her energy. You may know this energy as the very thing that can sometimes feel terrifying or confusing about women. But the author offers a beautiful metaphor. A river needs riverbanks to contain it and give it direction. Without them, it's just a flood. A man's steady, masculine energy acts as those riverbanks, providing a solid, uncompromising container in which her feminine energy can flow freely and safely. When a woman feels you welcome her femininity instead of trying to make her more like a man, she feels deeply accepted. Second, the artist sees her unique physical beauty. This is where specificity becomes your superpower. Simply telling a woman you're beautiful is nice, but it's impersonal. Her mind immediately asks, "What's beautiful about me?" The artist looks past the obvious sexual triggers and finds the unique jewels, the specific details that captivate him. It might be the way light dances in her eyes, a hidden gesture, or the curve of her neck. When you can articulate what you specifically find beautiful about her, your compliment lands with a power and authenticity that builds deep trust. Finally, the artist learns to see her deep inner beauty. This is the ability to see beyond the beautiful shell to the landscape of her heart, her stories, her pain, her hopes, and her dreams. Every woman, no matter how confident she appears, wants you to know her journey. She wants you to understand what has shaped her experience of loving. When you can see and hold space for her inner world, she feels that it is truly safe to open the gates of her heart and her pleasure to you. But what happens once you can truly see her? How do you translate that seeing into a connection she can feel? This is where the second archetype comes alive: the poet. The poet's gift is giving voice and language to what the artist sees. This isn't about writing Shakespearean sonnets. It's about communicating what you see and feel with meaning, specificity, and heart. Saying "I love you" is important, but the poet goes deeper, creating a bond of trust that generic phrases can never achieve. The poet practices his art in 3 powerful ways. First, he is a master of choosing her. In every woman's romantic fantasy, she is the one. She wants to feel that you chose her, not that she was just a lucky catch from a wide net you cast, hoping to land any fish. And this act of choosing doesn't happen just once. It's a choice you make and communicate every single day. When a woman feels that you are actively, consciously choosing her, moment by moment, over all other possibilities, it fulfills her deepest desire to be seen as a unique and cherished being. Second, the poet celebrates her. Celebration is the demonstration of your delight in her. In the beginning of a relationship, this comes naturally. You're on fire with excitement, and you want to show her off. But too often, men stop celebrating once they have the woman, and the romance dies. A woman's nature is to live in the present moment. What you did for her yesterday was wonderful, but it's gone. She wants to feel that you are celebrating her today. Celebration is about taking the appreciation inside you and giving it physical form. Whether it's a surprise picnic, a thoughtful gift, or simply praising her in front of others. When a man celebrates a woman, her heart gets renewed, and she becomes more generous and loving in return. Third, the poet invites her. He understands that every woman longs to be led somewhere, to be swept up into an adventure. This isn't just about a physical destination. It's about where you can take her body, mind, and heart. You invite her into a bigger possibility for your life together. You share dreams, you make plans, you create a future. When a man stops leading romantically, a kind of death happens in the relationship. The possibility that once felt so exciting dries up, and her heart contracts. The poet keeps that possibility alive by continuously inviting her on a journey. The artist sees, the poet expresses, and this brings us to the third archetype, the one who takes that vision and turns it into reality: the director. The director's gift is leadership. This is perhaps the archetype most lost to modern men. In the effort to be more sensitive, many men have become afraid to lead. They become passive, asking, "What do you want to do?" or "Wherever you want to go is fine with me." They believe they are being accommodating, but what a woman often feels is a vacuum of masculine energy. This empty space is unsettling, so she will step in and become directional herself. She'll make the plans, choose the restaurant, and manage the details. But when she is forced into this role, it triggers a mothering instinct, not a sexual one. Women do not have sex with their children. A woman deeply desires a man who can lead with a gentle, confident hand. Think of a conductor leading an orchestra. He doesn't use force. He leads with respect, clarity, and care, and the musicians willingly follow. The director masters 3 domains of leadership. First, he begins by having a vision for his own life. A man without a vision is like a ship without a rudder. He puts out a lot of energy but has no certainty where he'll end up. Women are drawn to men who have direction and focus, because it is an opposite and complementary energy to their own flowing nature. Your vision is your life's purpose, the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning. It needs to be bigger than just your relationship. If your woman becomes your only focus, you risk becoming needy and dependent, the very opposite of the strong man she desires. Second, the director takes the lead. Once he has his own vision, he is able to lead with a woman. This is about making choices. Instead of sniffing around for what she wants, he tunes into his own impulses and acts on them. He says, "Let's get some lunch." Not, "Are you hungry?" He says, "I want to see you again. How about dinner Saturday?" Not waiting for her to make the first move. This clarity and confidence is incredibly compelling to a woman. It makes her feel safe and allows her to relax into her feminine energy. Finally, the director welcomes her power. True leadership is not a dictatorship. A wise man knows he cannot act alone. He chooses a woman because she brings a wisdom and perspective that he doesn't have. He values her input and invites her counsel. Women are masterful at reading people and sensing emotional undercurrents. She can see your blind spots. A powerful man is not afraid of his woman's power. He welcomes it, knowing that it makes their team stronger. With the ability to see, express, and lead, we now move to the archetype that fuels it all with purpose, the warrior. The warrior is not a man of war. He is a man who fights for what he believes in. He is defined by his passion and commitment to a cause larger than himself. Unfortunately, many modern men have suppressed their warrior energy. They've become so afraid of their own aggression that they avoid anything with too much feeling. And in doing so, they rob themselves of the very passion that makes them powerful and attractive. The warrior's power flows from 3 sources. First, he must know what he cares about. Your true power doesn't come from your money or your status. It comes from your heart. It is the internal attunement to know what is right and good for you, and to align your life with that truth. Many men sacrifice their heartfelt dreams for the sake of providing for their family. While noble, this can lead to them feeling powerless and resentful, and their woman is left with only a part of the man she fell in love with. A woman doesn't want you to give up on your dreams for her. She wants to align with a man who is honest with himself and committed to what he believes in. Second, the warrior fights for her heart. This is about protection. On a primal level, a woman is drawn to a man who can keep her safe. This doesn't mean you need to be a muscle-bound fighter. It means she needs to feel, deep in her bones, that if danger arose, you would stand for her. It's about creating an environment of safety where she can relax and be her open, playful self, knowing that you are aware and watching over her. Third, the warrior fights for what he believes in. This is where his passion for his mission in the world comes alive. It demonstrates a profound capacity for love that goes beyond his own self-interest. When a man stands for something, whether it's justice, creativity, or protecting the innocent, he aligns with a power that is greater than himself. This is the energy of heroes, and it is irresistibly compelling to the feminine soul. As we build upon these archetypes, we arrive at the one that provides the foundation for them all, the sage. The sage's gift is integrity and unbreakable trust. Trust is paramount for a woman. For her to turn herself over to you, heart, mind, and body, she has to know that your foundation is strong. Trust isn't earned in one grand gesture, it is built action by action, promise by promise. The sage builds this temple of trust in three ways. First, and most simply, he keeps his word. You may not realize it, but every time you say you will do something and you don't, a small crack forms in her heart. Over time, these cracks erode her trust completely. A woman doesn't forget unfulfilled promises, because they leave her feeling uncertain and unprotected. Your word is your bond. When you consistently do what you say you will do, you become a rock-solid power base for her, and her trust in you deepens. Second, the sage trusts himself. Wisdom isn't about knowing all the answers. It's cultivated by trusting what you know, acting on it, and learning from the outcomes, good or bad. A wise man would rather make a decision and deal with the consequences than be paralyzed by indecision. This self-trust is a power she can feel. It allows him to be a steady presence, even in the face of uncertainty, which makes her feel secure. Third, the sage knows when to do the right thing. This is about moral courage. It's the willingness to act on what is right, even when it's inconvenient or requires a sacrifice. A woman wants to know that you will choose to act beyond your own egoistic desires of the moment. This builds a profound trust that you are a man who will love and protect her for reasons that are bigger than both of you. So far, we have explored the archetypes of the good, honorable man. But what about that dangerous, magnetic pull that women sometimes feel toward the bad boy? This brings us to the most mysterious archetype of all: the dark knight. The dark knight represents the part of you that lives at your edge. The edge is the great unknown, the unexplored terrain of your life that beckons you to be all that you can be. He is the man who is willing to face danger, risk, and even death, to feel fully alive. This is not about being cruel or self-serving. The shadow dark knight is the predator. The true dark knight uses this energy for growth and transcendence. He masters this dangerous energy through three opportunities. First, he must know his edge. Your edge is anywhere you feel fear, trepidation, or anxiety. It's the difficult conversation you've been avoiding, the creative project you're afraid to start, the part of your life where you feel stuck. The Dark Knight's code is simple. If there is no way out of a situation, go more deeply into it. By leaning into your fear instead of avoiding it, you discover a strength and confidence you never knew you had. Second, the Dark Knight lives as a free man. The masculine spirit values freedom in the same way the feminine values relationship. Too many men feel that being in a relationship means giving up their freedom, and they become resentful. True freedom isn't something you find by escaping a relationship. It's something you realize you already are. You always have a choice. When you own your freedom and stop acting like a victim of your circumstances, you bring a powerful, uncaged energy to the relationship that is incredibly attractive. A woman doesn't want to rob you of your free spirit. She wants to be a part of it. Third, the Dark Knight befriends danger and death. Why are women so often attracted to men who ride motorcycles or excel at dangerous sports? Because there is power in defying fear. A man who has made friends with his own mortality lives with a presence and depth that is rare. He makes love as if it might be the last time. He doesn't waste moments. He is fully engaged in the ride of life. This willingness to live fully, in the face of fear, is perhaps the most potent and attractive energy a man can embody. And finally, we arrive at the culmination of all these powers, the archetype that integrates them into a seamless whole: the lover. The lover's gift is sexual integrity. He owns his sexuality. He recognizes it as a powerful energy and he learns to use it for connection and healing, not just for release. He is not controlled by his sexual excitement. He is the master of it. The lover manifests his power through three final opportunities. First, he recognizes his sexual choice. Many men live in a state of sexual frustration, feeling that they are at the mercy of a woman's no. When she says no, they feel rejected and powerless. The lover understands that while he can't control her response, he always has a choice in how he deals with that fact. He is not a victim. He is the master of his own desire. This unshakable confidence makes him incredibly desirable in her eyes. Second, the lover has a sexual purpose. For many men, the purpose of sex is simply orgasm and release. While there is value in pleasure, a feminine being craves more. The lover cultivates a higher purpose for his sexual energy. Perhaps it is to create a deep spiritual union, to merge completely with his woman, or to heal her heart. This bigger purpose transforms the act of lovemaking from a purely physical event into an expansive, soulful experience. Third, the lover gives his sexuality as a gift. This is his ability to take a woman to a deep, transcendent place she cannot get to on her own. This requires him to be fully present, using the skills of the artist to see her, the poet to communicate with her, and the director to lead her. It is about attuning to her body's subtle rhythms, listening not just with his ears but with his whole being, and responding with creative, confident action. When a man can give this gift, he offers her sexual freedom, and she, in turn, offers him the nectar of her desire. These 7 archetypes, the artist, the poet, the director, the warrior, the sage, the dark knight, and the lover, are not separate roles to play. They are facets of a whole, powerful, and authentic masculinity. They are a map back to yourself. Commentary. As we come to the end of our exploration of Open Her, what strikes me the most is how deeply counterintuitive its message is to the advice many men receive today. In a world that often confuses masculinity with toxicity, Karen Brody offers a refreshing and empowering perspective. This book isn't about becoming more aggressive or dominant. It's about understanding that true masculine power is rooted in presence, purpose, integrity, and a deep, appreciative love for the feminine. The most profound lesson, I believe, is the idea that a man's relationship with a woman is a direct reflection of his relationship with himself. If he feels powerless with her, it is because he is disconnected from his own internal power. If he feels she doesn't trust him, it is likely because he has not built a foundation of integrity within himself. The entire journey through the 7 archetypes is an inward one. It's about cultivating the qualities within yourself that will naturally inspire the love, desire, and respect you seek. It shifts the focus from what do I need to do to get her, to who do I need to be to attract her. This is not a quick fix. It's a lifelong practice of self-awareness and self-mastery. But the beauty of this framework is that you can start today, with small, simple actions. So, here are a few things you can do this week to begin awakening these powers. First, practice being the artist. For the next few days, make it your mission to truly see someone you care about. Don't just look at them. Observe them. Find one small, unique detail, the specific way they laugh, a gesture they make when they're excited, the color of their eyes in the sunlight. And then, channel your inner poet and tell them what you noticed. Not as a compliment to get something, but as a simple, genuine observation. Just say, I noticed this about you, and I love it. Watch what happens. Second, practice being the director. The next time a small, everyday decision comes up, where to go for dinner, what movie to watch, what to do on the weekend, resist the urge to say, I don't know. What do you want to do? Instead, make a gentle but clear and confident proposal. Say, I'd love to go here, or let's do this. You are not being demanding. You are offering the gift of leadership, which allows her to relax. And finally, take a moment to connect with your inner warrior. Ask yourself a simple question. Beyond my own needs and wants, what is one thing I truly care about? It could be a value, like honesty or compassion. It could be a cause, like animal welfare or protecting the environment. You don't have to do anything about it just yet. The first step is simply to know what you would stand for. That is the seed of your life's mission. That was our deep dive into Open Her by Karen Brody. We've touched upon the core ideas today, but a summary is like looking at a map of a beautiful country. The map can show you the path, but it can never replace the experience of actually walking the trails, breathing the air, and feeling the sun on your face. The real magic of this book is in the stories and the subtle shifts in perspective that happen when you read it for yourself. If any of these ideas have sparked something in you, I encourage you to get a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning techniques, it's an experience that can fundamentally change how you see yourself, women, and the powerful, loving connection that is possible between you. A link to the book is in the description below. Also, if you found this summary valuable, Please take a moment to click that like button and subscribe to Billionaire's Bookshelf. It helps us reach more people who, like you, are on a journey of growth. We have many more life-changing books to explore together, and I wouldn't want you to miss our next one. Let's keep building our best selves, one book at a time.